lot of people are actually reading the tarot system incorrectly, right? And this is the proof. So here's the thing, right? In all forms of mysticism, whether it be the tarot, whether it be magic, whether it be psychic, whatever, all forms of mysticism, right? They're basically come down to four systems. Four systems. There is the Kabbalah, the Qliphoth, the Tunnels of Set, and the realm of Amalek. This is the reason why it is that in magic, there's a such thing as a term of, because there's many terms, but one of the terms of magic is the wings of the dragon. What is the proverbial dragon that they're talking about? This is the reason why it is that I say before that I love what? I love the dragon tarot, because I've had a deep connection with dragons. But why? Because dragons, there's an eternal fight mystically between the light dragon and the dark dragon. Now, the dark dragon always wins. Now, just because the dragon is dark does not necessarily mean that it's evil. It's actually the quote-unquote good one out of the two. So, and how did my cat get down there? But the situation with that is, I ain't want to sneeze on my cat, but the situation with that is that so these are all aspects of the dragon, right? The dragonic energy, right? Those four systems which rule over mysticism. I've been studying mysticism heavy for about 17 years now, since I was 14. And you know, you read so much, you practice so much, to the point where you ultimately understand, hey, you know, you heard of the same motifs, you heard of the same things over and over and over and over again, right? Over and over and over and over again. You understand, you know, this is really a situation where, you know, you start to understand that there are some things that no matter how much it is that people try to put it into different ways and make it seem as if like they're showing up with some new information, more than likely or not, they're just giving their own unique spin on the very same thing that you've more than likely already heard of or interfaced with. Now, with the tarot being a mystical system, the tarot is actually the Kabbalah in card form. Now, the history of the tarot was created by the Moors, passed down to the Moors, given to their squires, and their squires essentially have created secret societies, and it basically was passed down that way, right? So what happens is that whether it is that y'all know it or not, the tarot system is actually has the Kabbalah on it. Now, why that's important is because people who have been practicing these mysticisms have actually used the Kabbalah, the tarot system, mysticism, to actually trick and impede and destroy the people who are helping them practice. You've actually heard of people like Anton LaVey. Anton LaVey, if you didn't know it or not, was actually a practitioner of Setianism or Satanism, okay? But Anton LaVey, if you have the secret, you'll understand that Anton LaVey was actually lying in the interviews. That's the reason why it is that Anton LaVey had such a smile, is because Anton LaVey was in these secret societies, or part of it, before Anton LaVey actually branched out and decided to create the Church of the Church of Satan. And as a result of this, Anton LaVey ultimately was really lying to the constituents that was basically helping Anton do these rituals. So there's this tradition, unfortunately, and that's what Aleister Crowley got caught up in. There's these traditions where the people who is administering these mystical traditions to you is actually administering it incorrectly most of the times. And they're doing it on purpose, because the test is that the idea is only the people who are really built for the occult will really take the time and understand that they are being manipulated and played. And if you never figured it out, and you really rushed ahead without thinking about it and stuff like this, and you actually went ahead with the rituals, then you essentially become a shell, or i.e. lose your soul. Become a shell of your former self, and your life will degrade from there. So the tarot system, is no different. The tarot system has cards within it, just like the Kabbalah, just like the Clip-Off, Tunnels of Set, Realm of Amalek, which are all variations of Kabbalah, right, so to speak. They just like the Kabbalah, the Tarot has trick cards in it. Now, what do I mean when I say trick cards? I'm going to give you an example of some trick cards. But trick cards, or cards that are meant to be manipulative to get you, right, to actually read incorrectly, which will get you to perceive the world incorrectly, because your perception is power, because it shows where your attention is going. A very manipulative, or quote unquote deceptive card, for a lack of a better term, is the Strength card. A lot of people want strength, strong, independent, strength. A lot of those words get thrown around a lot. But why this card is manipulative and it's deceptive is because manipulation and deception are two different things, slightly. But why it's manipulative is because you can allow, that's what Tai Chi is. Tai Chi is about allowing the person to be strong, and as strong as they possibly need to be, so that you can use their strength against them. And they won't even realize it, because they'll be so busy on this mental trip of they need to take charge, that they don't seem to understand that they're actually not in charge. They only up underneath the illusion that they are in charge, because they cannot control the behaviors of others. They cannot control free will, and it's trickery of themselves trying to ultimately control something that cannot be controlled. Another trick card that you need to watch out for, and this is going to be a popular one, is the Lovers. Why? Because the Lovers represents an aspect of life where people will use love and affection to manipulate you. They will tell you that they love you. They will even imply or try to do everything that they can to get you to think that they love you, whether they lie, whether they give you lots of affection but don't actually tell you that they love you, whether they tell you that they love you, give you lots of affection sometimes, and then they go ahead and do very manipulative things. But the concept still remains the same. If love is very dangerous, because it could be a situation where people will use the term love to get you to manipulate you. This is what Aries is about. And I'm not saying Aries is about manipulating people in love. I'm saying this is why Aries is so important. This is why Scorpio is so important. Because this is why Libra, the Justice, is so important. It's because Aries represents understanding what love is. Libra is about understanding what love is, so that if you want love, if you want peace, you need to create war Aries, peace, Libra. So if you want peace, Libra, you need to create war, Aries. Why? Because people will manipulate, act a fool, act like they don't know any better, act like they don't have common sense until you do what? Until you put the foot to somebody for them to act right. And then they're going to understand, oh, okay, I need to have common sense around this person. But people will use things like love as a means of trickery, right? Really quickly, another card before we get on to a different aspect as to why. The High Priestess. Oh, the High Priestess is amazing, and it talks about secret admirers. No, yes, it does. Excuse me. Yes, it does talk about secret admirers. But it talks about secret admirers in the sense that in the sense that the secret admirer is about control and trying to get you control, and more particularly try to control you through your carnal desires of wanting this person, and this person using that against you. You want them, they don't want you. You don't want them, now they're trying to almost push it on you. And you're like, what? So all those people who's been reading the tarot system only for its face value, and they don't see it for what it is, it's very incorrect, because they're reading it, and that's why it is a lot of their readings. It may seem like their readings start off strong, but then they read some of those cards, and then the readings drop off from being starting out true, right? And then it starts to become less and less true as the reading continues on. So I'm not making up BS. A lot of the people who are reading the tarot is in fact reading it incorrectly. And another reason why it is that they're reading it incorrectly is because air is west, fire is east, water is south, earth is north. Why? So, and that's the way that I read my cards, in concordance to the direction of the card. Why am I saying that? Because the direction that the element is in, right, is important, because it's important to take into consideration and to read. Why? Because if you don't, right? Because if you don't, what's going to happen is that's also a very wrong way to read and perceive the world. So you may be asking yourself, what does this have to do with anything? Well, people are going about living their lives actually perceiving their life actually incorrectly. And the tarot system is a reflection of that. This is the reason why it is that in today's world, the dating arena sucks. It sucks because it's people interacting with each other quite dysfunctionally based off of the skewed perception of reality that they have. And it goes, and if you've been paying attention, go back and watch the courtesan, the entity of love in the tarot. This is what courtesan feeds off of. Go back and check it. This is what courtesan feeds off of. The false perception, the losing yourself, trying to integrate into this madness, so to speak. So, for instance, an example of this is the Eight of Wands. This is orientated correctly to the east because it's going eastbound. So, east is what? Destruction. West is creativity, air, creativity. East, fire, destruction, deletion, trying to destroy a concept, trying to destroy a person using spiritual and mental warfare. West, right? West, which is what the justice represents. The West the justice is orientated correctly because the sword is in the justice's right hand, meaning west, right? Which is air. So it's invoked correctly. And then the scales of Libra, yes, but the scales of Libra also represent Aries, right? Because Aries Rams is also doubled or symbolic as the scales. The scales is in what? The left hand, east, fire, destruction, deletion, right? And west, creativity. What is north? North is rulership. That's why, as I said before, that the earth signs are the authority of all of the elements, all of the other elements, because north represents the kind of manifestations that you want to create in the physical world. And what is south? South is water. Why is south water? Because you see a lot of people invoke these types of invocations completely incorrectly, in the sense that south will be fire, east will be air, right? According to them, west will be water, and north will be earth. Well, north always has to be earth because north represents, like I said, the authority. So you are essentially, whether it is that you know it or not, invoking the elements that way. When you get yourself into mysticism, you're actually invoking the elements incorrectly and locking yourself in. So you're creating a life that's actually meant to cause as much pain and suffering with no long-term reward. But when you invoke it correctly, south is water, west is air, east is fire, north is earth, you're invoking it correctly, meaning that you're actually, if you learn how to use it correctly, those elements, you're actually setting up your life to be quite an enjoyable one. Obviously, there's still going to be trials and tribulations, but ultimately you really end up coming out the winner anyway. So this is the reason why it is, okay, not to get into too much detail because it'll be long, why it is that I read the tarot system the way that I do. I'm actually bringing you through the tarot as safely as possible, okay, which is what a lot of people unfortunately don't do. The reason why I say that it's unsafe is because when you take a look at a card like the High Priestess, these two pillars are actually supposed to be the opposite side. And why? Because when these two pillars are this way facing you, where this one is over here and this one is over here, this one is actually supposed to be over here and this one's supposed to be over here. So what it is that you get with this is they're actually dumping you into the tunnels of Set from the Kabbalah, and you don't even know it. What does the tunnels of Set have to do? Well, there's only one light side of the tree, and the light side of the tree is the Kabbalah. The other trees or the other aspects of it. Now remember, there's four. There's the Kabbalah, tunnels of Set, Clip-Off, realm of Amalek. The Clip-Off, tunnels of Set, realm of Amalek. Those three are dark, and the High Priestess actually. Let me find the High Priestess. The High Priestess, or a card like the Lovers, actually dump you into the tunnels of Set from the Kabbalah, and you don't even know it. And only a few people, right? Cards like the Chariot actually dump you into the tunnels of Set, and you don't even know it. And this is part of the reason why it is that you see so many people who get into tarot, they have so many bad stuff happen to them, because I've heard that before, how a lot of people will tell me that some bad stuff has happened to them since they got into tarot, and they're actually scared, right? Because a lot of people don't know how to, in fact, and I don't want to say this because I'm not disrespecting any other tarot readers, but I'm just keeping it 100. They don't know, in fact, they don't know this information. So or maybe some of them do, and they're trying to trick you. But the ones who legitimately don't know, they don't even realize that they're actually reading it wrong, and they're putting you in harm's way, unfortunately, by doing that. Now, why is that harm's way? The tunnels of Set the tunnels of Set make it so that you don't prosper in life if you don't know how to actually intrepidate or travel through the tunnels of Set correctly. Same thing with the Kabbalah. Same thing with the realm of Amalek. A lot of really unfortunate things can happen to you when and if you get yourself into one of these tarot systems, or you follow along with a person's channel and you get and you look at a tarot reading and it dumps you into the tunnels of Set clip off or the realm of Amalek. You don't even know that you've been dumped into the realm of Amalek. You don't even know how to travel it to effectively get out successfully and get what it is that you want. I do, because I've traveled, and I may do a video on that. I've had some serious effects. I've traveled the clip off. I've traveled the Kabbalah. The tunnels of Set, I'm still actually in the tunnels of Set now, learning how. Yeah. Oh, I'm still in the tunnels of Set now, learning how to travel through that, right, successfully. The realm of Amalek more than likely is next for me, but it is intense. So, like I said, some people are reading the tarot system incorrectly, and they gotta ultimately really get their stuff together, figure it out.